Pokemon games have a ton to do beside from just becoming the champion, from completing the Pokedex, completing other battle challenges, and other post-game story events. A few months ago, I made a video on Pokemon Crystal where I played it for 100 in-game days. But since most other Pokemon games don't have day-night cycles and daily events like Pokemon Crystal, today we'll be doing something similar on Pokemon Black 2 by playing it for 100 hours and seeing how much we can accomplish in that time. Pokemon Black and White 2 are just jam-packed with content, so make sure to leave a like to support the channel, subscribe for more Pokemon videos, and follow me on Twitch too. And now let's hammer away at Pokemon Black 2 version for 100 hours. Starting out, I name ourselves C and name our rival Time, since the more I think about it, 100 hours might not be enough to do everything that I want to do in this game. I then pick our starter, which is of course Oshawott, one of my favorite starters in all of Pokemon, and name it Subscribe because chances are if you're hearing this part of the video, you aren't subscribed, at least according to those YouTube analytics that everybody loves, that show an overwhelming majority of people who watch my videos aren't subscribed. I'm not going to focus too much on the main story with this game and each individual gym badge, since as weird as this might sound, beating the game and the story mode of Pokemon Black and White 2 isn't really that relevant for this video. One objective that is pretty relevant though is completing the Unova Pokedex, which is one of the things we need to do in order to max out our trainer card in this game. I catch everything inside on the first couple of routes, with some highlights being a Sunkern that I named Queen Murder. Yeah, Sunkern is the highlight of the route more than Riolu, since Sunkern is also a 5% encounter, and pretty much everybody who plays this game uses Riolu. I mean, I did when I first played through it in 2012. And shortly after the ranch, we encounter the Metal Guy, which sounds like it'll be a fun side quest for us to complete, but most of the medals require us doing mundane things that aren't really important, like getting on and off our bike 30 times, or changing the channel on a television. We'll probably get most of the medals along our journey regardless, and then revisit any other potential easy ones we can get at the end. But for now, I use Oshawott to lay waste to Charon's intrepid team and get our first gym badge only an hour and a half into this run. I expect the main story to take roughly 25 to 30 hours, since we'll be catching a lot of Pokemon along the way and doing some of these side things like the Pokestar Studios, which we can do shortly since we're now in Burbank City. First, I catch all of the Pokemon in the Burbank City complex, including this Magby that I named Fuego, and at this point I decide on having a small side goal of using weird or cool Pokemon that I haven't really used much before, like this Sunkern and Magby. I think I did use Magby once before in a playthrough when I first played through Pokemon Black 2 nearly 10 years ago though, and I don't think I've ever used a Sunkern in a Let's Play, or anybody has for that matter. On our way to Roxy's Poison-type gym, Oshawott evolves into Duat and learns Razor Shell, making this gym a breeze, with our game time being 2.5 hours now. We can take a break from normal gameplay for a little bit and check out the Pokestar Studios now, which is one of our side goals. The first thing I do is look up the Cerebi page about the Pokestar Studios because I don't really know much about it, besides that one movie it forces you to make at the start of the game. It turns out there's a lot of different scenarios in Pokestar Studios, each with 4 parts, some of which you can't unlock until later in the game after you become the champion. I also learned that you can get a bad ending by going for moves that are off script, which I do for the first time, and it causes the movie to flop and we don't unlock part 2. We do still get a fresh water from this hiker though, who is our biggest fan, and gives us gifts after every movie no matter how good or bad they are. We have a few other options for movies we can make here, like this one called Red Fog of Terror. Here I learned that there is this turn-by-turn script telling you exactly what to do in order to maximize your movie's results, which we'll end up listening to. While recording it, we're battling against this weird square, but the actual movie is much weirder. We battle this weird humanoid monster, and if you showed this to me about a week ago, I would think this is from some sort of fan game or some fake creepypasta, but nope, it's real. Let me know in the comments down below if you knew about these weird Pokestar Studio monsters before, because I bet most people probably didn't. I ended up spending about 45 minutes here and learned that there were a lot more movies than I originally thought, and some of which I'd fail even if I was following the script exactly. I don't know if it was because I was using rental Pokemon and you're supposed to use your own Pokemon for this or what, but I decided to just hold on the Pokestar Studios for now, so we can fight Team Plasma and then make it into Castelia City after about 4 hours of gameplay, and I imagine there's a lot to do in this big city. The first thing I do is talk to the metal guy who gives us like 8 medals, then explore the city a bit. I round up the Harlequins, visit the Game Freak offices, and of course the sewers where I begin to use Magby and Timber a bit more. Magby is fantastic against Berg's bug-type gym, defeating him in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail, allowing us to head north and into the Joyan Avenue. This is one of the things I really wanted to focus on in this video, and I set my greeting as yo and my title as click like, so occasionally the NPCs say yo, click like, which you should do by the way, and we open a few shops here. We can revisit this periodically throughout the game to get more customers and shops, but the most noteworthy place here is the antique shop, where we have a chance to get a sunstone needed to evolve our Sunkern, which I still have on the team just soaking up EXP from that EXP share. When we continue north, we reach Nimbasa City where we help Rosa fight Ingo and Emmett, the battle subway duo, that I decided to try out after picking up this lost item which causes Yancy to call us every so often. In the battle subway, we have to win 7 consecutive battles to get BP, and after several attempts, I just wasn't able to do it. I got to the final battle once, but our team is just too weak for now, and although I hate doing this with nearly everything, we can revisit it after we become the champion and have more resources. I then check out the musical where I enter Sunkern in this weird outfit, and I guess I wasn't able to give it the umbrella because it doesn't have arms to hold the umbrella. But in the actual musical, we just sort of sit back and watch. There isn't a minigame or anything here, and I don't really see the point of this, but look at that, it's been 10 hours in the challenge now, so let's get moving. As I prepare for Elisa's electric type gym, I lose the first attempt, so decide on leveling up Magby to 30 where it evolves into Magmar, making the gym go by much easier. On to Driftvale City, and why don't we have a look at our PC? We'll pop in here every now and then throughout the video to see the progress of our Pokedex, and as you can see we have nearly a full box of reserve Pokemon already. Typically when I play through a Pokemon game casually like this, I barely ever even have more than 10 extra Pokemon, which is one of my favorite parts of this challenge. It makes wild encounters much less annoying since I actually need to catch everything I see, as opposed to just running away from everything. Here we also add Zora to the team that Team Plasma gives us, then fight Clay with mostly Duon. This gave me a bit of trouble since I was focusing on leveling up other members of our team so we can use a few different Pokemon, but after 3 attempts, Magmar saves the day to take out his Excadrill, giving us another gym badge. During some Team Plasma stuff, Timber evolves, and then we take on the Pokemon World Tournament, or PWT. This, again, is something we'll tackle more in the post-game, but I noticed there's this rental Pokemon option here that I tried out a few times, and I don't remember this being here before. I start off with the double battle rentals first and get some neat Pokemon like Beartic and Basculin, and also some cool trainers are here like Berg, Roxy, Bianca, and a few other gym leaders. This is really reminiscent of Pokemon Stadium to me, and I wish I did this more when this game was new. I remember doing the battle subway a lot, but that was in Black and White 1, but this place seems just as cool and is a bit shorter with the tournaments. I end up switching over to single battles eventually, and my winning team was Amoonguss, Simipour, and Dino. Not quite the team you'd expect, but it was a random rental team after all, that really reminded me of the Battle Factory in Emerald, which I loved doing as a kid. And our reward for winning the singles rental tournament is just 1 BP. We can't even do anything with that yet, but I'm sure we'll end up getting some more. I then continue and make it through the Chargestone Cave, catch everything inside including this Dynamo that I add to the team, get some more medals once we reach Mistralton City, then evolve Duot and Dynamo while clearing out the tower. I guess I'll show the team before Skyla since I haven't really done that much yet. So we have Electric, Magmar, Samurott, Girder, Woobat just for fly, and of course we still have that Sunkern in the back. I have been mainly using Samurott and Magmar through most of this playthrough, but Electric is actually a really good Pokemon that I have never used in a Generation 5 game before. Electric of course makes Skyla's gym a breeze, and I'll evolve it with a Thunderstone once it learns Thunderbolt at level 44. Near Undella Town, I catch a ton more Pokemon on this route to the south, which you don't really need to ever go to unless you're going to Black City. And with that, we reach the 20-hour mark, and our rival, Time, tells us to wait up. And something about this text box just made me laugh, seeing Time telling us to wait up. We then find our first legendary encounter in Cobalion, and let's show the box again now that we have 2 full boxes. After that, we catch Virizion, check up on Joyan Avenue where I add a couple of new shops and up our score a bit, and then defeat Drayden thanks to our new Cobalion. 23 hours gone so far and only 77 more to go. Now that Electric learned Thunderbolt, I evolve it with a Thunderstone that we found in Nimbasa City, zap the Humalai gym to get our 8th gym badge, catch Terrakion to get our 3rd of the trio, do all of this Team Plasma nonsense towards the end of the game with Black Kyurem and that, and we passed the 25-hour mark during this time, bringing us 1/4 of the way there. And between the rest of the Team Plasma stuff, Victory Road, checking up on some other things and moving around some TMs, we also passed the 30-hour mark. I entered the Elite Four with a team of Samurott, Magmar, and Electros, which have been our main 3 Pokemon, then Cobalion and Altaria, which started to become good towards this latter half of the game thanks to the EXP share. And of course, that Sunkern in the back we've had since the very start. I will get you your deserved spot in the Hall of Fame, Sunkern. I don't really see a point in detailing too much about these Elite Four fights, but basically I exploit all of their weaknesses, spam heals and revives, and take care of the base Elite Four pretty easily all on the first attempt. Iris did give me a bit of trouble though, and I had to battle her 3 times to beat her, and the only reason I ended up winning was because Electros paralyzed her Haxorus, which loved to spam Dragon Dance and could potentially sweep you, allowing us to outspeed it and knock it out, giving us the win at just over 31 hours. A bit longer than I thought it would take, and I imagine that 30 hours or so is how long it takes somebody who's never played this game, who's also relatively new to Pokemon, to beat this game. And somehow, even though 31 hours doesn't seem that long to beat a game, now we can finally focus on some of the cooler tasks in Pokemon Black and White too, like the Battle Subway, PWT, and of course, Join Avenue. So the first thing I want to do in the post game is get our team ready. We have a lot of battles ahead of us, so I decided to keep our starter Samurott as well as our Electros and pair them with Dragonite, Metagross, Terrakion, and Latios. It's a more offensive focused team for sure, and I might change it up along the way, but first we have to open up all of the areas we haven't been to yet so we can catch the Pokemon we don't have. I first go to Black City and then battle Alder, which allows us to challenge the Black Tower. Then I make it all the way to November Town where we see the Black and White 1 protagonist mother. She mistakes us for the Black and White 1 protagonist and tells us that she apparently knows our mother. I feel like they tried to make the Black and 1 trainer a lot like how Red was in Red and Blue, but kinda just forgot about him. And we all know they're never gonna forget about Red. We also get the fishing rod here, allowing us to fish for a Dratini in the Dragon Spiral Tower. We catch a Metang in the Giant Chasm, and Latios in the Dream Yard. I want to level them up until around level 80, and I decided to EV train them a little bit to help out. I'm not too focused on having perfect IVs and EVs or natures for that matter, but while EV training Latios and Electros for special attack in the tower, I start thinking of other things we need to do. I then realized that since I'm on an emulator, I mean broken Nintendo DS if you're watching Nintendo, I can't trade to get trade evolutions or version exclusives, but I think as long as I get the items needed to trade evolve these Pokemon and figure out some other method of getting the version exclusives, then we can pretend that I traded for them, especially since the official GTS stuff like that is turned off. We also can't do the entry mission since that requires 2 players on actual DS consoles, one of which is on Pokemon Black and White 1 for some reason. These are sort of like minigame missions if you didn't know, and I didn't even know these existed until I started making this video. And we also can't do anything involving the Dream World since that was officially shut down, and we can't do anything involving passerbys, since even if I was playing on a working Nintendo DS, I doubt I'd pass by anybody playing this game in the middle of a pandemic. That might sound like a lot of things we can't do, but Pokemon Black and White 2 still have a ton of other things for us to do. Even though there isn't much of a general post-game story, I can still see somebody spending more than 100 hours trying to complete everything else. I eventually learn of this exploit in Nimbasa City where you can level up your Pokemon very quickly. Basically, after entering the Hall of Fame, stronger trainers appear in the small court and the big stadium, and there's 2 Pokemon breeders that can appear. Now, Pokemon breeders in this game re-battle you every time you leave the area and come back, and after defeating them you get a rare candy, and they give you a rare candy every time you battle them. I discovered this exploit after battling some of the trainers in the small court already, so I had to wait until the next day for the trainers to reset. Then I could soft reset until I got the Pokemon breeder, and then just battle them a few hundred times. In the meantime though, I catch a couple more Pokemon for our Pokedex, help Charon in the Pinwheel Forest, and get the upgrade item as a reward. This puts us at about 38 hours played, and I'm slowly starting to realize how long it will take to fill out the near 300 Pokemon Unova Pokedex in this game, so I'll save most of that until the very end after we beat all of the battle stuff. Our Join Avenue is still popping though, with more customers and more shops. Still no Sunstone to evolve our Sunkern though. so don't think I forgot about that. The next day, I check back in the small court and soft reset until the trainer we need shows up, and exploit the hell out of them by battling them a ton of times to get a ton of rare candies. This took roughly 8 hours to get all the candies needed, and I even had about 80 left over just in case, but I did turn off animations to make it go a bit quicker. This finally lets us level up our team to about level 80 for the Elite Four rematch, and pushes us past the 40-hour mark and at around the 45-hour mark. Now that all of our Pokemon are leveled up, I head back in for the Elite Four rematch. Their Pokemon are a bit stronger now and have slightly different teams, but Dragonite and Samurott take care of Chantel, Terrakion Swords Dance sweeps Grimsley's Dark-type foes, Caitlyn gets swept by Dragonite, Latios takes care of Marshall's fighting types, and against the champion Iris, I use Samurott lead to take out her lead Hydreigon with Ice Beam, and then once it falls, I send in Terrakion to Swords Dance and sweep the rest of her team. This was the first big battle challenge I wanted to complete, and next we can focus on the Black Tower. I've never done the Black Tower before, or the White Tree as it's called in White version before, so it was fun seeing this for the very first time. Basically, you have to clear 10 floors and fight Benga at the top. Each floor has a random trainer roaming around that has a key, and you need this key to open up the final door to the floor boss. Once you reach the 6th floor, there's even more secrets to find, and this whole tower seems a bit sus, with this one NPC claiming that someone far away built this tower and is watching these battles for entertainment. Even after completing it, I'm still not sure what the whole story of this place is. But as we reach the 10th and final floor, we also pass the 50-hour mark and fight Benga. He is Alder's grandson and has some strong Dragon-type Pokemon like his lead Latios that we have an honor battle with against our Latios and win. When we beat him, we can go back to Alder's house and get a shiny Gible. In White 2 version, you get a shiny Dratini instead, and this is one of those cool little features I didn't know about recently. Things like this really make me appreciate Pokemon Black and White 2, and I'm glad that I decided to play this game as the second game in our series after Crystal version. I also did plan on having one of the challenges for this video be get a shiny Pokemon, and we did technically get a shiny Pokemon now, but if there is time at the end, I would like to actually shiny hunt legitimately in this game and find a real shiny. I then check up on Joint Avenue again and fill out all of our plots, get some new customers, and level up the area a bit more. I still want to improve it as much as we can though, but after looking up some more info about Joy & Avenue, it seems like one of those things that never really ends, so we can check back at the very end of this challenge to see how far we took it. One small cool thing you can do in the post game now that it's spring in the game is battle Cynthia in Undella Town. Her team is a bit weaker than Benga's, but you can battle her once a day in the spring and the summer. Her Roserade from her Platinum team was replaced with Glaceon, however. Like some other notable trainers you'll find in Unova had their teams changed. You can see some more notable trainers from past games in the PWT if you talk to the person on the right dressed in red. After defeating the Unova Leader Cup featuring Unova Gym Leaders, you unlock cups featuring gym leaders from the previous 4 generations too. Latios is banned in the cups unfortunately though, so I can't use it, so I use Dragonite, Terrakion, and Samurott for the single cups. Some of these were harder than others, but it was still pretty cool, and some highlights include seeing Giovanni in the Kanto finals, Tate and Liza by themselves since I was doing single battles, and Juan in the Hoenn Cup. The gym leaders are a bit different each time you battle them, and some of them have different Pokemon, but after defeating every single gym leader cup, we unlock the World Leaders Cup. This has gym leaders from every single region all in one tournament, and we have to beat this 10 times in order to unlock the Champions Cup featuring all of the past champions. I really want to unlock the Champions Cup and defeat it before the 100 hours are up, but I kept getting destroyed in the World Leaders Cup, so I decided to take a break for now and pick up a new Pokemon in the meantime to help us out with it, since if we're having this much trouble, we'll definitely have trouble for the Champions Cup and Battle Subway, which we still need to do, and from what I hear, the Battle Subway is harder than this. I might do the double battles for the Battle Subways though, depends on how I feel when I get to that, but currently this sets our journey at 54 hours. I looked up some ideas for the PWT and came across a page on Pokemon DB that highlighted a few Pokemon, including Terrakion and Metagross, which we already have. I changed their movesets around to better match the PWT and also add Chandelure with 4 attacking moves. It doesn't have great IVs, but it is a timid nature, and when we get enough battle points, we can give it the Choice Scarf. This goes by pretty well since I win the first World Leaders tournament I try, then lose the next 3 as we pass 55 hours. I figure having better items like a Choice Scarf for Chandelure or Life Orb for Metagross will be better, so I set our sights on the Battle Subway single circuit for now, which is a bit easier. In the regular singles train, we go up against Pokemon that aren't fully evolved, and after 21 consecutive victories, we see Emmett and unlock the Super Singles train. This one's a bit harder since it has stronger Pokemon, some legendary Pokemon even, and we need to win 49 times in a row to clear it and face Emmett once again. I end up leading with Terrakion for most of this and did sweep a good deal of trainers, but Chandelure and Metagross in the back were just as valuable. All of my Pokemon share a ground weakness, which isn't that great, making these random Garchomps hard, although some of these Garchomps we saw were special attacking Garchomps with Surf, which was kind of weird. I did lose a couple of times on a 20 win streak or so, but I eventually make it to Emmett, who has Excadrill, Haxorus, and a Chandelure. Since my Chandelure is Scarfed, I can't use it for the whole thing, and since I'm leading with Terrakion, it can fall to Earthquake. Terrakion at least gets his Haxorus low enough to where Chandelure can come in to knock it out with Flamethrower, and then I can take out the Excadrill, forcing me to switch on his Chandelure into my Metagross, which takes a hit, then dodges a hit, allowing my Chandelure to come in, outspeed, and win the honor battle. We get 30 battle points for this and have a good bit of BP saved up, which we might need later on for evolutionary stones and other items like that, although the only other battle challenge left aside from the battle subway is the PWT. Now, I originally planned on just going back to the PWT now, but I noticed that when we return home, we have this cool trophy for winning the super single circuit in the battle subway. I didn't even know this existed, and it makes me want to get all three of the trophies now for the double battles and the multi battles. But between these singles trains and getting my Chandelure ready, we passed the 60-hour mark and are almost at 65 hours already. I'm getting a bit nervous that we might not be able to finish everything I want, but I'll definitely try my best and do as much as we can since there's a lot to do in this game. I took a break and ate lunch after recording that last bit, and all I could think about was the Battle Subway, so when I had time to play this game again, I went straight to the Battle Subway doubles line to get that trophy. I also learned that Latios isn't actually banned in the subway, it's just the Soul Dew held item, so I take it off for the Twisted Spoon and eventually the Life Orb when I get another one, and add it to our team along with Terrakion, Metagross, and Chandelure for the doubles line. Latios' Levitate ability is great to pair with Terrakion's Earthquakes, getting us to the first Emmett double battles fight pretty easily. Here I did notice a weird glitch though, where if both of your Pokemon faint on the same turn in a double battle, it just doesn't let you send out Metagross. So I reset the game and it happened again. On the third battle with him, it ended up working fine, allowing us to defeat him past 65 hours and unlock the Super Doubles train. After beating this, we have to do the multi-battle train with an AI opponent for our third trophy, then we still gotta go back to that PWT. I eventually make to the end of the Super Doubles train 2, and Latios pair with Terrakion is just too strong. The battle with Emmett this time was easier than the singles one, giving us our second trophy at just about 69 hours played. Nice. So we can now do the multi-challenge. This one is cool because you're paired with an AI opponent, in our case Rosa, who has some decent Pokemon. You can choose between attack, defense, or balance for her Pokemon, and I always just picked offense, which seemed to work. She changes her Pokemon team every 7 battles, and has some good Pokemon with her like Haxorus, Sawk, Reuniclus, and Archeops. The base multi-battle line was pretty easy to get through, unlocking the final train we have to conquer, the Super Multi-Battle line. We need to get a 49 win streak again to end up facing Ingo and Emmett this time to get our final trophy, and I did end up cheating a bit and using save states here because I lost a couple of times on a 10, 20, even 30 battle win streak, and when that happens you have to start all over again from zero. This pushed us through the 70-hour mark, and by the time I finally got that 49 win streak to face Ingo and Emmett, I had nearly 74 hours played. They have a team of Excadrill, Electros, Haxorus, and Archeops, all of which cover each other pretty nicely in multi-battles, but with Brute Force we win, giving us the last trophy we can finally display in our house. Yeah, that's right. While you're in her DMs, I'm in the battle subway getting all 3 trophies to display in my room that I didn't even know existed before making this video, and I'm sure some of you guys never seen this either. I don't think anybody really cares about this, but I think it looks cool. Now we can finally go back to the PWT to finish that out and have our last big task after that being completing the Unova Pokedex. Now that I have Chandelure and Latios, the PWT goes by a bit easier. We have to win 9 more times, and I end up losing way more than 9 more times before I win 9 times, since there are some trainers like the Ghost type gym leaders, Fantina and Morty especially, that I have a very hard time against, then other gym leaders like Chili or Crest that I can beat no problem. Once I beat the PWT here 10 times, we passed 75 hours game time, but now have to win the Champions Cup, which is the hardest one. We only have to beat this one time, not 10 times like the previous one, but it does feature all of the previous champions, which is pretty difficult. Cynthia was by far the hardest for me since she almost always had her Garchomp, but after 10 or so attempts, I had a lucky run where I faced a pretty easy blue fight, then got lucky against Alder where his Volcarona just spammed Corviknight and didn't attack me, and then finally faced Red in the finals. His Venusaur falls to Latios, then he goes into a Choice Scarfed Blastoise it seems, that knocks us out but ends up hitting himself from struggle because of the Choice Scarf. So I take it out with Metagross, then I take out his Snorlax by going into my Terrakion and hitting with a close combat, giving us the victory. I kept switching Pokemon around here for every attempt that I had, and finally got a lucky run with these 3 Pokemon, making our trainer card change to orange too and pushing us through to 79 hours played. The next thing I'll focus on is completing the Pokedex and possibly some other smaller things if we have time left over. We have roughly 20 hours left to do this, and I'm not really sure how to showcase just me running around catching Pokemon all across Unova, but I decided to first go after Pokemon that I can't breed or evolve from existing Pokemon that I have, except for the Evolutions, which I breed a bunch of to get all the Evolutions, except the friendship evolutions we have to wait a little bit to get. I decide to keep 2 Eevees on my team for this to get Espeon and Umbreon, alongside a Golbat and Sewaddle, which also evolve through happiness. Through this, we pass the 80-hour mark and the 85-hour mark, meet Crasher Wake, who randomly appears in a lot of Pokemon games for some reason, check out the Metal Office because we passed a certain metal threshold to unlock a ceremony or something, and of course, boost our Join Avenue a bit since we have a lot of visitors lately. At this point I realized we can also use Join Avenue to boost our Pokemon's happiness, so I go there to boost Eevee's happiness, then evolve it into Espeon. It's also Thursday as I was playing this game at this time, so I catch the Static Mandibuzz, which is a Braviary if you're playing White 2 version, catch some other things for our Pokedex, and also find the Zoroark in Victory Road that leads us to End's Castle. I completely forgot about this part of the game, but we battle him, then get a chance to catch Zekrom. After that, I catch the Zekrom, get the Sunstone to finally evolve our Sunkern, and spend some time catching other Pokemon, but get a bit bored of it, so I decided to check out the Battle Institute for a little bit. This is another area of the game I forgot about, but it also exists in Pokemon X and Y. But in Black and White 2, it's in this unassuming building in Nimbasa City, which features single battles and double battles. After 7 total battles, this guy here then evaluates your battles and gives you a star ranking based on how well you did. No matter what I do or how many battles I win or how few Pokemon faint, I can never get the maximum star count and I'm always 1 star off. I'm guessing you have to beat it without a single Pokemon fainting to get max stars. So I then decide to go battle Colress again in the Plasma for a Great since I also want to do all of these extra cool optional battles in the post game. Get a second Master Ball from him, which is nice, but I'll hold on to it, and then get past the 90-hour mark. I then try out the PWT Type Expert Challenge with Dragon types, which was quite hard. I gave Latios the Choice Scarf and also used Dragonite and this random Altaria that I used in the middle of the game. And this was pretty difficult because we have to battle Claire and Drayden. I then go to the Striation City Gym, or restaurant as it is now, and have a double battle with Silent, Chili, and Cress. I then focus on breeding a ton of random Pokemon to help fill out our Pokedex slots some more. All of this brought us past the 95-hour mark and into the final stretch of this challenge. With just over 4 hours left, I figure it's best to at least try and catch the remaining legendary Pokemon, since I don't think I'll have enough time to catch the 100 or so remaining Pokemon to fill out the whole dex. I catch Uxie at the museum, then Mesprit in the Celestial Tower, and Azelf on Route 23. We unfortunately can't get all of the Regis since that requires having both games and doing some sort of game sync thing, but we can at least catch Cresselia in the Marvelous Bridge, and finally the last legendary Pokemon in this game being Heatran at Reversal Mountain. All of these legendary captures and finding the items needed for them took nearly 2 hours, and after that I have another rival fight in Undella Town. Check out the Abyssal Ruins, which doesn't have much to do here aside from finding some cool relic items and find an Arceus plate. I remember when I first accidentally found this place nearly 10 years ago when I first played Pokemon Black and White 2, and the Abyssal Ruins, along with many other small places in Unova, made me realize how cool a Legends Arceus style game would be for the Unova region. Now I am recording this before I even get a chance to play Legends Arceus, but this region is very developed with a few big cities, but it still has some cool lore and history that's a bit underexplored that I'd love to see explored a bit more. We then battle the Shadow Triad in Icarus City, have one last rival fight in Driftvale City, and then check out our Joyne Avenue for one last time. We managed to get it all the way up to level 5 and max out a few of the shops, which is something that I really wanted to do with this area. It sort of reminds me of a little Animal Crossing minigame in Pokemon, and aside from Black and White 2, we never really got anything like this in a future Pokemon game. I then find this weird Fungus and its trainer in a Kumala town that I never noticed before, and as we pass the 99-hour mark, I decide to finish off our journey by battling the 2 Game Freak employees in Castalia City. First is Nishino and his Leftovers-based team, followed by Morimoto and his team of all new Generation 5 Pokemon like the 5 Elemental Monkeys. As we win this final battle with our starter Pokemon Subscribe the Samurott, we sit at 99 hours and 56 minutes. I then return to our hometown and stare off into this view where our journey began to close out our final minutes. I make a lot of Pokemon videos, especially on Generation 5 games as of lately, but I never really play the post-game for my videos, except for when I play through a game for the very first time. While Pokemon Black and White 2 don't have much of a story in their post-game like Heart Gold does with the Kanto arc, or even Omega Ruby has with the Delta episode, there's still tons to do in this game, and some stuff we didn't even get to do in 100 hours of gameplay, one of which, if you really wanted to, would be resetting the game and just playing through it again on challenge mode. That alone would add about another 20 hours or so of gameplay on top of the few things that we didn't get to, like completing the Pokedex, and getting that cool random shiny Haxorus. This whole thing took me just over 2 weeks just to play and record after playing for roughly every day, and collecting about 116 gigabytes of footage later, it made me really appreciate the 5th generation of Pokemon, especially Black and White 2, a bit more. The 5th generation, when it was the newest generation, was my favorite generation, and once Generation 6 came out, I didn't really revisit it until a few years later. I still think it's one of the absolute best generations, and Black and White 2 over the last year or so have slowly started to become my favorite Pokemon games, dethroning Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Now I don't know what game I'll do next for this challenge or even when it'll come out since these take so long to make, but after starting this by doing 100 days in Pokemon Crystal and now doing 100 hours in Pokemon Black 2, I think the hours model works a bit better since not every game has day-night cycles or daily events like Crystal does. So thanks to everybody who recommended I do hours instead of days for this series. And that pretty much wraps up our journey for now. Be sure to follow me on my Twitch channel, linked in the description if you want to see some of my Pokemon live streams, and also be sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe for more Pokemon videos. With all that out of the way, I wanted to thank you for watching, hope you have a good rest of your day, I will see you all next time, and bye bye.